Good afternoon everyone, and welcome back to the shed of endless possibilities. To all the family members and subscribers, I hope that you're all well. I appreciate you being here. Please keep the comments coming, and please, if you can, hit the like button. Right folks, I'm going to do a short story now, which is from my book Ordo Strigoi V, The Vampire Journal. And that's it folks. And there I am on the back, for those who are interested. Right folks, this story is called Harvest Moon. There was a strange and eerie silence tonight, not even a breath of wind to be felt. The trees stood like an unmoving backdrop behind the old ramshackle mansion house. It was a night like no other night. It was a full moon, the harvest moon. The harvest moon cast a pale light as it illuminated the branches of the trees. The occasional bat flew past silhouetted against the moon. Stars in their thousands twinkled like diamonds against the black velvet sky. I looked up and pondered my insignificance against the size of the infinite universe. Time seemed to stand still for what seemed an age. I was spellbound by all that I saw before me. I had left home following a disagreement with my partner, and we quite often do not see eye to eye. I had decided to drive into the countryside to allow myself to let off steam. However, my anger remained for a while. Her words were going round and round in my head. And suddenly, there before me was this mansion. It was a place I had never seen before, even though I had travelled that way often. The place seemed to hold me in its thrall. I felt unable to walk away and compelled to walk towards it. My heart began to race as I neared the door. There was a glow of candlelight in the windows, and the aroma of a peat fire pervaded my senses. But why had I never seen this place before? I reached out to grab an ornate bronze knocker and was just about to knock on the old oak door when it slowly creaked open. As it opened, it seemed that the air of centuries escaped into the night. The door opened wider, and stood there was a tall, very slim lady dressed from head to foot in old-fashioned clothing. Her hair fell in curls to her waist, and shone in the candlelight. "Welcome, Zachary," she said. "I have been expecting you." I looked at her in shock, as though she did look familiar, but I could not remember just who she was. Nervously I asked her how did she know my name. "Don't you remember?" she said as she smiled, but for the life in me I had no recollection of it at all, even though there was something strangely familiar about her. "Please enter," she said. "My name is Isabella. Do you remember me now?" With trepidation I walked through the open door and into the house, and into the dimly lit room she guided me. A peat fire was burning in an oak cast iron grate. Isabella asked me if I would like a drink. I thanked her, and she led me to a seat by the fire. "Please sit down," she said. And then she poured me some wine in a beautiful ornate chalice. As I sat there, I stared into the fire. Isabella spoke again, asking once again if I recognised her. Sadly, I had to say no. "But please explain to me who you are." Isabella topped up the wine and sat opposite me, staring deep into my eyes. Isabella started by saying it was 365 years ago when we first met. It was the night of the Pule Hill battle, You were injured and I saved your life right here in the mansion, and I removed a musket ball from your chest and quelled your fever. There was so much bloodshed in that battle, and so many of the spirits remain of those who lost their lives. As she spoke, the memories came flooding back. I could hear the musket shot. I felt intense pain as a musket ball pierced my chest. I could hear the clash of steel on steel as the swordsman fought. I could hear as those swords cut through flesh. There were terrible screams from those dying, and that smell is something I will never ever forget. The smell of blood was thick in the air, as was the smell of explosive mixed with fear. So many died, and more were horribly maimed. Women were widowed, children left fatherless. It is said that the River Colne, which passes through there, ran blood red that night. People were screaming and others shouting as they ran headlong into battle. Some, it is said, were rebels, the other the king's men. But whatever side they were on, they paid a terrible price. I could see through my mind's eye all those terrible events of that battle, and I also saw that the night was identical to tonight. An eerie silence everywhere. The only sound was that of a battle. Beyond that, all was identical, even down to the harvest moon. I asked Isabella why I had never come across the mansion before. She told me that it is because that this is the very night, 365 years ago after the battle happened, where many died, and during that battle the mansion was used to treat the wounded. She went on to say that on the anniversary of this battle each year, the mansion and the ghosts of those who died return. And all those who survived will at some point return and will become reunited with their past. She stood and asked me to follow her, which I did. She led me to a large tapestry-covered double oak door. From inside came the sound of merriment. She drew the curtain back and opened the door, and I was met by an unforgettable sight. Over 300 men were sat at a long wooden table laden with food and drink. As I entered, all the men stood and raised the chalice of wine to me, and cheered. Each man shouted, "Greetings, Zachary! We knew that you would return to us, but it's not time for you to stay. You must return to your life for now, until you become ever reunited with your past." They saluted Isabella and said it is good that she continues to look after us in the spirit world and the world of the living. Isabella looked at me and said, "It's time now for you to go." I stood there and was reluctant to leave, but she ushered me to the door. Once again the old oak door creaked open. Then Isabella bade me farewell. I walked out into the night. I looked up into the sky once again. I turned to say goodbye, but there was nothing there. Just the trees, illuminated in the light of the harvest moon. That's that one, folks. Now this one is from my book, A Laugh a Day Keeps the Doctor Away. And this is 2 quick poems for the young at heart. The first one is called Halloween Fright. The night of Halloween is here, the day when all things ghostly are seen. Lots of soft-scented candy, which make your teeth turn green. Every year I get really excited, going out saying trick or treat. Most people are so very kind and give me something lovely and sweet. The trouble is I'm a bit of a scaredy cat. My own shadow can frighten me. I just hope that tonight is different, so nothing will really scare me. I can't help it, I really am frightened. Witches cackling and singing chants. A demon is pointing right at me. I may have messed my pants. A vampire smiles and lifts his cape. His eyes seem to hypnotise me. The devil is looking for new souls, a werewolf behind the tree. A ghost hovers by my window pane. I close my eyes, not wanting to see. Suddenly my leg feels wet and warm. Oh no, I've started to pee. I really must go and change my clothes because I'm really starting to smell. A devil stands and beckons me toward the gates of hell. I will be glad when all these ghouls have gone and every ghost has gone away. But until then I must go on smelling right through to the light of day. I will be glad when this night is over. Hopefully I will get some sleep. I just hope when I close my eyes I'm not counting mutant sheep. And the next one, folks, is called Halloween, on a similar vein. The 31st of October, the night of Halloween, when all the witches and demons allow themselves to be seen. A zombie is knocking at the door. There are giant mutant ants. A werewolf is howling at the moon. I think I've pulled my pants. The evil pumpkin stares at me. A ghost shrieks down the street. Frankenstein is stood by my door. He's saying trick or treat. The mummy covered in bandages, a witch flies past on a broom, and I'm just sure I saw the wolfman in the corner of my room. Ghosts and ghouls are everywhere, all shouting trick or treat. Give us your toffee apples, all red and sticky and sweet. The vampire is really scary. Red blood drips down his chin. The pumpkin man just stares at me with an evil, glowing grin. All the monsters in the world are outside my door tonight. I saw my reflection in the mirror. It gave me a terrible fright. Zombies, werewolves and witches, vampires, ghouls and giant ants are all waiting in the shadows. Now I must go check my pants. Right, folks, I hope that you've enjoyed what you've heard. If you have, please hit the like button, leave a comment in the box below, hit the bell icon for any future uploads, and if you're not a member of the channel, come and join us. It won't cost you a penny, helps the channel grow, and we become part of that bigger community. So, as always, I will say to you all, Namaste. Enjoy the rest of Wednesday, everyone. Bye for now.